For countless centuries, humanity has only been granted fragments of a much greater story. The image of Jesus that has been widely accepted and taught is only a partial reflection of his true teachings. What if the lessons he shared were far more profound than what has been passed down through conventional religious doctrines? Hidden within ancient texts and veiled beneath parables lie esoteric messages, teachings that, if fully understood, have the power to elevate human consciousness and unlock a direct connection with the divine. Many of these sacred insights remain obscured from mainstream understanding. Those who fail to look beyond the surface may never fully grasp the path Jesus sought to reveal. The deeper layers of his wisdom transcend traditional religious practices and instead point toward inner transformation, urging each of us to recognize and awaken the divine spark within. His teachings are not about rigid rules, but about the realization of Christ consciousness, a state of spiritual unity with God that is accessible to all. Let us now embark on an exploration of these mystical teachings, unveiling their profound meanings and their transformative potential for those who seek true spiritual awakening. Teaching 1. The kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17:21. One of Jesus' most profound and esoteric teachings is encapsulated in the simple yet powerful statement, "The kingdom of God is within you." For centuries, many have interpreted the concept of the kingdom of God as an external place, a distant paradise that awaits the faithful after death. However, Jesus' words suggest something much deeper. He was not referring to a distant physical location, but to an inner reality, an eternal state of divine consciousness, where the soul awakens to its oneness with God. This realization is not reserved for saints or prophets. It is available to all who seek spiritual enlightenment. It aligns closely with the teachings of Eastern traditions, where the self, Atman, is ultimately recognized as one with the divine, Brahman. Salvation, rather than being an event that occurs after physical death, is a transformation of consciousness that can be experienced here and now. To enter the kingdom of God is to awaken to the truth of one's divine nature and live in alignment with that sacred awareness. Teaching 2. I and the Father are one. John 10:30. When Jesus declared, "I and the Father are one," he was not merely making a statement about himself. He was expressing a universal truth about all of humanity. This teaching embodies the principle of non-duality, the understanding that all things are interconnected and that separation from the divine is merely an illusion. Many interpret this statement as an exclusive claim about Jesus' divinity. However, when viewed through a mystical lens, it becomes clear that he was inviting all individuals to realize the same truth about themselves. Just as he recognized his unity with God, so too can every soul come to understand its own divine essence. The process of spiritual awakening requires transcending the ego, the illusion of separateness, and merging with the divine presence that exists within. This teaching parallels the core principles of Advaita Vedanta, the non-dualistic school of Hindu philosophy, which asserts that there is only one ultimate reality. Jesus was guiding humanity to recognize that God is not external, but inherent within each of us, waiting to be realized through spiritual awareness. Teaching 3. The eye of the single vision. Matthew 6:22. Jesus taught, "The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light." This often overlooked teaching alludes to a mystical truth known across various esoteric traditions. The single eye refers to spiritual vision, the ability to perceive higher realities beyond the distractions and illusions of the physical world. In yogic philosophy, this corresponds to the activation of the Ajna chakra, commonly known as the third eye, which grants deeper insight and divine wisdom. Jesus' words suggest that by focusing one's inner vision on the divine, rather than being led astray by worldly illusions, the entire being becomes illuminated with divine light. This teaching aligns with the practices of meditation and contemplation found in Eastern spirituality, where the third eye serves as the gateway to higher states of consciousness. Teaching 4. Rebirth of the Spirit. John 3:3. Jesus told Nicodemus, "No one can see the kingdom of God unless they are born again." While many interpret this passage as a reference to conversion or baptism, its deeper meaning speaks of a profound transformation of consciousness. To be born again is to undergo a spiritual rebirth, an awakening from identification with the physical self and ego to the realization of one's divine essence. This concept closely mirrors the esoteric understanding of Kundalini awakening, in which the dormant spiritual energy within rises, leading to enlightenment and union with the divine. Being born again means shifting from the limited perception of the ego to the eternal awareness of the soul. It is an invitation to step beyond conditioned beliefs and rediscover the divine truth that has always resided within. Teaching 5. The Narrow Path. Matthew 7:13-14. Jesus taught, "Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." This statement conveys the difficulty of the spiritual journey. The path to enlightenment is not an easy one. It requires dedication, inner work, and the willingness to step away from material distractions and societal conditioning. The narrow gate represents the path of self-discipline, meditation, and the conscious effort to align with divine truth. The broad road symbolizes the way of the ego, the pursuit of worldly desires, and the illusions that keep individuals trapped in cycles of suffering. Only those who are truly committed to seeking divine wisdom will find the path that leads to ultimate spiritual fulfillment. Teaching 6. The Vine and the Branches. John 15:5. Jesus said, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing." This is not merely a metaphor for dependence on Jesus, but a mystical teaching about the unity of all beings with the divine source. The vine represents the universal Christ consciousness, while the branches symbolize individual souls connected to the divine energy. Just as branches cannot thrive without their connection to the vine, human beings flourish spiritually when they align with the higher consciousness within them. By attuning oneself to this divine presence, one can manifest higher wisdom, love, and enlightenment, fulfilling one's true spiritual potential. Jesus' mystical teachings were meant to guide humanity toward profound spiritual transformation. Far beyond institutionalized doctrines, his wisdom calls each soul to embark on an inward journey of divine realization. By embracing these truths, one can transcend fear, dissolve illusions of separation, and awaken to the Christ consciousness within. The kingdom of heaven is not a distant reward, but an ever-present reality waiting to be discovered within the depths of one's own being. If these teachings resonate with your soul, take the next step on your spiritual journey. Seek wisdom, practice inner contemplation, and embrace the divine essence within. Together, let us awaken to the truth and walk this sacred path toward enlightenment.